I want to thank you for all you've done, all your dedication, all your hard work for the county, and all your public service.
Thank you so much.
You know, I'd like to say that it's a bittersweet moment at times like this when an individual does retire. It's a sweet thing to get to retire. The sweetest thing is your neighbor, so it worked out good. But it's hard when someone with this much experience leaves. Now, I understand she's not leaving for good. She just could be working for a couple days a week. But the fact is, without her being up there, things are going to be different. We're a little bit more difficult. Teresa's going to have a whole lot more hard time trying to fill her void. And so I would like to thank her for all her endeavors and everything she's done.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been my honor to work with the county.
Good.
Thank you so much.
2-9.
At this time, the chair will recognize Chairman Jim Stale of the Calendar and Rules Committee.
Chairman. Item 2A, approval of consent calendar. I'll put in for the motion.
We have a motion. Get the right screen up. James did. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, vote the motion, please. The motion is approved.
Item 2B, approval of the irregular calendar items. I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, vote the motion, please. The motion is approved.
That's all I have, Chairman.
Thank you very much. The chair at this time would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Doty moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Cohen? Any discussion? Hearing none, then let's go to the motion, please. Okay, the motion is approved. At this time, we will entertain comments concerning items that are on the agenda. I would like to request that if you're here tonight to address the zoning request change, that you will keep your comments until we have the public hearing section for that. Okay? You have 3 minutes, except Mrs. Noe has requested 5 minutes to address some items on the agenda. Mrs. Noe, you're recognized.
My name is Linda Noe, 2343 Joe Stevens Road. My first question is, and I believe I've got 5, not 3. Is there, now you said items on the agenda,
Yeah, you.
and I added on mine anything that might be added to the agenda at the meeting.
And nothing has been added to the agenda.
Is anything going to be?
If anything was going to be added to the agenda, it would have been added in Commissioner Stepp's
Okay.
report.
That's what it should be, but I just want to make sure you weren't going to pull something.
No, there's nothing going to be added to the agenda.
Okay. What I'd like to address is the items in your consent calendar, the attorney's bills. We had a lawsuit about, and it hinged on a lot on the attorney's bills. Mr. Shipley had filed a lawsuit. in his own name, and yet the county, as proven by Mr. Capps' bills and as given to you at the last meeting on the 13th, showed that the county attorney was billing the county taxpayers for Mr. Shipley's lawsuit. For that reason, or that among other reasons, I have 2 ethics complaints to pass tonight. I'm not sure exactly who to give them to because your ethics officer is Mr. Capps, and one of the complaints is against Mr. Capps. The other is against Mr. Shipley. So I'm thinking you can give me direction, perhaps Mr. Goins, the vice chair.
Give it to me, I'll take care of it.
How?
Well, give it to me, I'll read them over and see what's.
No, you have to get independent counsel.
Mhm.
You are not the ethics officer, and there's no ethics committee anymore. That was abolished when the ethics committee violated the Open Meetings Act. With Mr. Shipley, the complaint is about using public office for private gain and purposes, because he signed off on his lawsuit that the commission had not approved, and then used the county attorney and county funds to pay for his lawsuit. Yes, Mr. Capps refunded the money when he realized, uh-oh, I should never have billed the county. And I would say in this, Ms. Stibler has authorized me to tell you that she has filed a complaint with the Board of Professional Responsibility as well. With Mr. Capps, it's also unfair and unequal treatment of a citizen. For example, on July 23rd, when he let multiple people speak on the budget and then refused to allow me to speak. Allowing government officials, or shall we call them leaders, like Mayor Britton and Chamber President Marshall Ramsey, to have unlimited time to defame me, to make false statements that they finally admitted once they were faced with a lawsuit. Impeding government efficiency and economy. These are all, if you check your ethics policy, and I'm not sure if you all have signed off on that ethics policy, but you should have. Allowing commission to vote on a contract, the HEA contract, when the person or the entity, HEA, did not have a licensed engineer in Tennessee at the time of submitting the proposal as required. I have a few other things, like failing to ensure that the county follows county policies on procurement of professional services, exercising power beyond that which is authorized. The ethics complaint against Attorney Chris Capps, using public office as the county attorney for private gain or purposes, using his position and billing the county for 7 months for a suit that he had no authority to file, Mr. Shipley had no authority to file, and then try to say, oops. An attorney knows who his client is, and an attorney knows who's paying him. It doesn't come out 8 months after the fact. False statements to the court during the October 1st hearing, when he told the court that he was not billing the county, and then said, dear judge, I misspoke. Covering up the false statements by sending to the court a letter, or to the mayor, a letter with a check reimbursing the county. That was nice to reimburse them, but they never should have been billed. Signing pleadings as county attorney over a 7-month period when commission, you had not authorized the suit. Abuse of position by filing an authorized lawsuit for an individual, and failure to identify the client, and abuse of office by submitting bills for Howard Shipley's lawsuit for payment by the county taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else who wishes to address the commission? Please state your name and address.
Karen Norwood, 1501 Eller Road, got working. Good $50,000 spent here. Anyway, I just wanted to point out, part of the reason why I think that when you get together and you are to vote on and approve monthly checks, that if each and every one of you had been looking over and looking at monthly checks, someone other than on this side doing your job for you should have caught the missed billing and the missed payment to Chris Capps, paying Mr. Shipley's bill for him. And so I was just going to say that as I've been told too on monthly checks, I'm still not seeing any cutback on unnecessary items when we really need to be tightening up a budget. So what I'm going to start doing is that we have 13 different offices within Hamblen County that are still like English, Mountain, Spring Water, not necessary. This is going to be in your monthly check, so I'm right online here. That I'm gonna do whatever it takes for myself to see if I can contact each one of these departments. I don't consider it micromanaging, but anyway, when we need to tighten the belt and cut out unnecessary spending, I want to see what I can do to try to encourage some of the 13 offices to quit spending so much money that is not needed. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else? Yes.
Sure do, just give me a minute. I know you're in a hurry. My name's Edna Green. I live at 4981 Cameron Road. Mine is as well the bills. I was going over your billing, and I have a question that's going to sound off the wall. When your coroner submits a bill, does anybody go over it to see if you've been double billed for anything? I was reviewing the coroner's bills. You have 2 different coroner reports with the same day, same name, same address. The only difference is the age is reversed. And at $40 a pop, somebody needs to be watching how the county money is put out. The ones that are in question were on line 2120. The coroners that submitted the duplicate bills was J.R. Thompson Jr. and Todd Giles. My question to you is, does anybody check it? And if they do, who is it? Somebody needs to be watching the money. You want to spend $75 million for a jail, but you don't want to fix anything. Now, I also looked at your Tennessee inspection for your jail that was in the packet. It had several deficiencies. Can I ask how many of you commissioners looked at that, or am I permitted to ask that question? Just so that you know, you have several deficiencies in there. You have toilets that are leaking, and no offense intended, if I had a leaking toilet, I'd fix it. Do you know why? It's going to damage my floor. It's going to destroy something without causing mold as well. Then you've got in the description in there that it needs to be cleaned up. I don't mean this the wrong way, folks. Bleach ain't that expensive. And you have maintenance crews. So I don't know why they're not taken care of. You also had a discrepancy as far as when people were booked and how their money and so forth was registered. Several years ago, and I think some of you who were here at that time, someone was took up for that because money got misplaced, and I'm being very polite about that word. So something needs to be done. If your people that are over this don't know how to do it, replace them. I don't know about you, but if we have somebody that works for us and they don't do their job, I know how to pink slip them. And if you don't have somebody that knows how to pink slip them, far ever who's doing that job, and hire you somebody that can do it. It's not a big deal. And no offense intended, I do appreciate your new Mr. Reed taking the time to speak with me when I was listing all the commissioners' emails and phone numbers so that people could contact you and let you know how they feel about the situation as it stands. I've read comments all week, and I do appreciate his courtesy of him speaking with me. He's like my daughter, he's a Tennessee fan, so I tried to make it short and sweet for his sake. But long questions, you just need to go look. You're put in here to watch your money and be good stewards.
Thank you for your comments.
Bonnie Wellington, 317 Staplefield Street, Whitesburg. You know, when I found out the deal about Mr. Capps, the county attorney, being paid for your lawsuit with our money, and it is our money any way you look at it, that brings up a whole lot of red flags. And you can bet from now on, this is fair warning to any and all of you, from now on, every penny that this commission spends is going to have to be accounted for, because there's going to be a lot of people watching every penny and the bottom line. You know, we have to wonder just how many times Mr. Capps was billed for something he shouldn't have been billed for. He's an attorney. He should have known, if you didn't, he should have known that he couldn't do that. And you should have known that you couldn't file a lawsuit for the county commissioner. You had to file it on yourself. That should have given you and Mr. Capps the idea that, hey, the commission, the county cannot pay for this. That's my lawsuit. I have to pay for it. And the fact that Mr. Capps then stands up when he's called on it and says, oh, I forgot or whatever. No, he didn't forget. But at least hopefully we got the money back. We'll have to wait and see.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else here in the audience who wishes to address? Yes.
Darrell Harwood, Eller Road. All of you are going to be going home tonight. You have homes, you have your own finances at home. You know big ticket items you budget for them. But the ones that throw your budgets off at home are these little nickels and dimes that eat you up. In the time I've been out here, I've never seen one of you, one time, look at how can we cut, how can we save a few dollars here and there. Maybe we don't have to take out so many bonds to finance our Taj Mahal over here. None of you are looking at how can you save some money, how can you ease the burden on the people a little. When I was in the Air Force, because that was taxpayer funded, if they wanted a coffee pot there, everybody had to chip in. Because it would not make taxpayers pay for something that for our personal use. Now, I've worked at companies, and the company provided it. That wasn't taxpayer money, that was the company's money. Why is it that we have a health department over here gets a few $100s every month for a gourmet coffee service provided by us? Why is it our responsibility to provide them coffee? Look at these little things. You can start cutting a lot out of this budget if you just do it. You don't have to take this huge amount of debt if you start saving a little bit. Start looking for ways to cut back. Start treating this county budget like it was your own budget at home. Stop just whatever you want. Everybody walks up here. You don't never turn them down. You just give them whatever they want. That's our money you're giving away. Start treating it like it's your own budget at home. Be a little tight with your money. You wouldn't just hand it out at home, so stop handing out ours.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else who wishes to address the commission and the audience here? We have a person, would you ask this individual to come in, please? Melissa, she's coming around. Okay. Okay, Melissa, you have 3 minutes to address the items that are on the agenda here regarding the jail.
I haven't seen an agenda.
You haven't?
No, sir.
Okay. You might then want to wait until at the end of the meeting if it's just general comments about the jail, because we have bid awards on the demolition and clearing of the property, lease agreement with the Morristown Rescue Squad, and property exchange agreement with Morristown Hamblen Rescue Squad. Those are the only 2 items that's on the jail agenda.
I mean, my comments are partly because I was left out of the meeting last month
Okay. But,
and left outside.
I would recommend that you come back at the end of the meeting and share your comments, okay?
Okay.
Okay, and we have some people to leave the room, Bill. She's already gone. That's going to try to get her. We don't want to forget it, okay? All right. We're going to recess the Hamblen County legislative body, open it in a public hearing concerning a zoning change located at 4656 Old Land Road, Morristown, Tennessee. Do we have anyone here who wishes to speak against this zoning request? If you do, please come to the podium at this time. Seeing none, then, do we have anyone here who wants to speak in favor of the zoning request? Please come to the podium at this time. Seeing none, then, we are going to close the public hearing section and reconvene as the Hamblen County Legislative Body. And at this time, the chair would entertain a motion to either approve or disapprove of the zoning request.
I make the motion.
Who made the motion?
I'll
Mr.
second.
Baker has moved that we approve the zoning request.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Punch your button there, Taylor. He wants to second the motion. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, then, let's vote the motion, please.
On 7 A, 14 yea, 0 nay.
Okay, the zoning request is approved. At this time, the chair will recognize Randy DeBoer, chairman of the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On item 8A, the approval of the monthly checks, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. Commissioner E. Smith, you're recognized.
I've started looking over a lot of monthly checks too, and Bobby did on water. And I see one on page 1 of page 2 for 914. Travel to and from Jefferson County. Reference GENNOCRO and bail for $300. What are we going to Jefferson County?
I can answer that.
Okay.
That was a suit filed against Chris Bell by a citizen that was defended. They had to go to Jefferson County to get the judge to hear it. Recused herself. Judge Snyder recused herself. Mr. Bell.
Okay.
Will this take place in Jefferson County or Hamblen County? Chris Bell is Hamblen County.
But the judge in this county recused herself, so they had to go to Jefferson County to have the case heard.
Another judge couldn't have been brought in? They do it all the time.
That's the Administrative Office of Courts that does that, and this lawyer can probably tell you that, Wayne, and those judges decide whether you travel with them or they travel with you. That's not something that.
It just seems $300 pretty stout.
Have any further discussion? We'll vote the motion.
Mr. Ward?
Yea, 2 abstain.
The motion is approved.
Item 8B, bid award for electrical upgrades for Cherokee Park, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote the motion, please. Mr. Naismith, yeah, thank you.
8B, 14 yea, 0 nay.
The motion is approved.
Item 8C, budget amendments. We've got budget amendment 1 for Fund 101, Parks and Fair Boards, Cherokee Park, $3,600, and that's for the replacement of mulch through an insurance proceed. And I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, vote to motion, please.
Item 8C, 14 yea, 0 nay.
The motion is approved.
Item 8C2, Fund 101, Public Safety Projects for $36,431, and that's for one unmarked sheriff's car. And I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Commissioner Neesmith.
Is this not gonna be a new car? This is not gonna be a new car, I guess? 36,000.
It is a new car.
We were looking at the committee meeting, they was talking about a van. Somebody had a van.
That was
That's a different.
That was for animal control. This is for transporting mental health.
Okay, if this is where if you're hauling somebody mental
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
they don't wanna ride in a cruiser
Yeah.
with all this thing about it, so.
That's correct.
What kind of a car are you gonna get? What's on the agenda for that?
The Durango.
Is
A
a
new
Durango, a Durango,
A new one?
yes.
A new Durango.
And it has, this includes the equipment that needs to go with it because there was to be a panel in the back seat to separate inmates or patients if they were traveling together. Any other questions? Any other comments? Hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Item 8C2, 12 yea, 2 nay.
Okay, the motion is approved.
Item 8C3, Fund 101 for Animal Control. This is $213,295, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We need a second. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Item 8C3.
One of the commissioners voted here. Right at the last.
Sorry. Item 8C3, 11 yea, 3 nay.
The motion is approved.
Item 8C4, Fund 122 for Drug Fund, and that's $14,000 in riot gear, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Item 8C4, 14 yea, 0 nay.
The motion is approved.
Item 8C5, Hamblen County Department of Education budget. This is an increase of $3,107,021.91. I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, then let's vote the motion, please.
Item 8C5, 13 yea, 1 nay.
The motion is approved.
Item 8D, a proposal to extend the lease on the Care Here Health Clinic, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Item 8D, 14 yea, 0 nay.
The motion is approved.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman DeBoard. At this time, the Chair will recognize Chairman DeBoard of the Personnel Committee.
Item 9A, which is Resolution 2036, a resolution authorizing Hamblen County not to implement the discretionary payroll tax deferral program permitted in IRS Notice 2020, Type 65, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, then let's vote the motion, please.
Item 9A, 14 yea, 0 nay.
The motion is approved.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman DeBoard. At this time, the chair will recognize Chairman Tim Goins of the Public Service Committee.
Thank you, Chairman. Item 10A, order establishing work release commission, and I'm going to put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Commissioner Neesmith, you're recognized.
Tim, have we ever had this before? Is this something?
The work release program, yes, we have.
You've had it, it's in existence?
Yes. I do think there's a few things changed on it, but nothing significant.
So it's not a brand new deal? We've had it.
No, right.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Item 10A, 14 yea, 0 nay.
The motion is approved.
Item number 10B, surplus items from circuit court, which is a printer, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote the motion, please. Commissioner Ward?
Just one.
Item 10B, 14 yea, 0 nay.
The motion is approved.
Chairman, that's all I have.
Thank you, Chairman Goins. At this time, the chair will recognize Chairman Tim Horner of the Justice Center Jail Project Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 11A, the bid award for demolition and clearing of properties for a Justice Center project, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, then, let's vote the motion, please.
Item 11A, 12 yea, 2 nay.
Okay, the motion is approved.
Item 11B, lease agreement with Marshtown Hamblen Rescue Squad, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
B, 12 yea, 2 nay.
The motion is approved.
Item 11C, property exchange agreement with Marshtown Hamblen Rescue Squad, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Item 11C, 12 yea, 2 nay.
The motion is approved.
Also, Commissioners, you'll have a sheet of the expenditures that was requested by Commissioner Neesmith on your desk, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Chairman Horner. At this time, we will entertain comments for general comments for the commission, and Mrs. Noe again has requested 5 minutes. You're recognized, Mrs. Noe.
Shipley. Linda Noe, 2343 Joe Stevens Road. I'm here, my shirt turned inside out, because I understand you made a directive that we were not to be allowed to come up wearing the shirts that we have worn. I wore this shirt last time, not a comment. I've worn this shirt other times without a comment. I think you're setting yourself up for a really, really bad situation. When did you become the fashion police for the county? Maybe I don't like something you have on. This is not obscene. It's a matter of free speech. And you have infringed on that, on me and other people. I don't understand how you can be so arbitrary and do that. When I've worn this shirt 3 or 4 times to this meeting, nobody told me to turn it inside out. Your policy doesn't say anything about clothing. We go back to your definition of placard or sign. making a big mistake. You've already made a big mistake. Of course, if I were able to wear my shirt and had it right side out, it says save $30 million, build a one-level jail, and renovate the Justice Center. It is still mind-boggling that you sit here and ignore that, even looking at it. I was absolutely floored at the last meeting when you wouldn't allow a commissioner to put an item on an agenda. Evidently, you all don't count, or at least the ones who perhaps don't have the right idea. You can't even put something on an agenda. You can vote it down. Why can't you even put it on an agenda? Have we reached that point where a few chairmen, and we have very few here anymore, a few close-knit chairmen and the chairman of the entire commission shut everybody down, even commissioners who've been elected by the people of their district? You need to look at it. It is not too late. I see Mr. Head is here with Burwell. Do we have the plans ready? Do we have an estimate ready? Do you have a contract with, did you sign the contract with HEA even though they had no right to submit a proposal? I'll come in tomorrow and I'll ask for an inspection to see if you do. And then we'll go from there on that issue. And finally, on the Shipley versus Noe lawsuit, I ask that you do the right thing. And so many of you have told me, oh, I'm for openness. Oh yeah, I believe in accountability. That camera doesn't hurt anything. It never has, and it never will. I encourage you to rescind your rule and don't try to pursue this kind of thing. You had multiple options of, if Mr. Goins has all been out of shape, he could move. I would move, except if you get over there, you're really blocked by a lot of various rails and different things over there, the jury box. And I've been taping there forever and nothing has been a problem. Your other option is tape it yourself. There's that camera. There's that camera. Those were donated to this county for the very purpose of taping meetings. And you use them once a month. Tape your budget meetings. Tape your jail meetings. Tape your regular committee meetings. Open up. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. At this time, we want to recognize Melissa. You're here. Come to the podium, please. State your name and address.
My name is Melissa Ballou, 3728 Halifax Circle, Morristown, Tennessee. I have a few things that I want to address since I was held out of the last county commission meeting and left outside the rain with my 6-year-old granddaughter. I'm also one of the barking dogs, per se, as the commissioners have called the people that speak out against them. You guys, some of are familiar with and some of are not familiar with. Bill Britton has been trying to take control back of the animal shelter per Dr. Daniel Parks since we got the Crooked Rescue Group out of there back in 2014. They've managed to do exactly that, and you guys have just handed them more tax dollars to ship more animals up north. There's a for-profit group, For Pet's Sake, that we tried and fought very hard to get out of the shelter because animals were coming in and coming out the back door owned animals. People's animals and pets that belong to people. There were theft of people's animals under the direction of Mayor Bill Britton. Per putting Daniel Parks in charge of it, putting Eddie Davis in charge of it. Then there was one of the commissioner's nephews that was put in charge of it. That was a fiasco. And then when all that failed, they put in Sonia Shipley onto the Morristown board. They tried to take it back over that way, which now the animal rights has succeeded and took over the shelter board. And you guys are handing this over to animal rights, which is trying to take away farms in Tennessee. You need to start paying attention to what's going on. Another thing I want to address is the fact of why I'm wearing a shirt inside out. Is it not my constitutional right to dress the way I want to dress without having to turn my shirt inside out? This is ludicrous. Because somebody doesn't like what my shirt says, I have to, where does it say in your rules that there's a dress code now? Are we going to be made to wear dress clothes and sneakers and our hair a certain way? Have we turned that much into a communist Morristown? That we the people are being told everything to do? I just think you guys need to think about the taxpayers. Because there's more of us than the ones that show up here that are paying attention and following in the back scenes. People that have been aware of the situations going on in Morristown for a long time. And the ones that didn't used to listen to me, believe me, I have their attention now.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else who wishes to address the commission? Sir, there's a lady right behind you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It really disturbs me to see all my COAG members in here only because they turned their shirts inside out. That was the only way they were allowed to be in the meeting. We started the group, COAG group several months ago, and since then, a lot of you are very unhappy with us, with what we're doing and how we're educating the county on what's going on right here in this room, back there behind closed doors, wherever. But you stepped on our First Amendment right when you decided to play God and tell us that we couldn't wear our shirts in here, that we had to turn them inside out. Where was this ever voted on to do that? Was it ever discussed in a meeting? Is it legal for one of you to decide that that's the way it's going to be and play God and so mandate it? COAG stands for Citizens for Open and Accountable Government. And that's what we're pushing for every day, and that's what we're going to keep pushing for. You're not getting rid of us that easy. If you think, because you can tell us that we can't come in with our COAG shirts on, that's going to upset us, you're right, it upsets us. It upsets me because that's my First Amendment right. I see people in here with t-shirts on that say different things. Why are they not made to take their shirts off and turn them inside out like we are? Is it because we're a group and we're after you? Don't trample on my First Amendment rights.
Anyone else who wishes to address the commission?
Here we're at 1501 Eller Road. I had a political sign in front of my property. It was on my property, not state property. It was torn down. I submitted a Freedom of Information request to the mayor. He admitted that he had ordered it to be taken down. By the time the crew got there to do it, according to him, it was already gone. Well, I have a security system at my house, video cameras. Any of y'all don't believe that? Contact Vicki Arnold, the Morristown Police Department. She'll be happy to verify it for you that my property is fully videoed. When it was torn down, it's quite a distance away. So the video don't clearly show who it was. So it's gonna cost me quite a bit of money to have that video enhanced to find out who it is. If the person I suspect done it happens to come clean, they'll be reimbursing me about $600. We'll call it a day. If I have to pay out all that money and have that video enhanced, and then I'm going to take it to the sheriff's department, if they refuse to prosecute it, then I'm going straight to the U.S. attorney. That's a violation of my 10th Amendment rights of equal protection under the law. And then I'm going to own who I think done it, if I can clear up the video to show it. So they might want to think about that. Because if I have to go through all that and have to prove they done it, then they're going to get a criminal charge on them. Second thing is, in the very county ordinances, it clearly says, under signs, read the exemptions. Political signs are exempt. Mine was exempt, and it was on my own property. Also, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that political speech is protected. Gentlemen, I'm serving notice on this county right now. That sign's going to be going back up. And if this county gets around it again, let's take it down. You will be on video. And it may take a couple of years, but it will go to federal court. And I'm going to own a significant chunk of this county if you all try to touch it one more time.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else who wishes to address the commission?
Can you hear me? My pastor keeps telling me when that comes on charter, he can't hear half of it, just so you know it. He's 73. My first remark is, why do you not take every meeting, finance, all, as a matter of transparency? So many of you have told me you were all for transparency. Walk what you preach, folks. Put it out there so everybody can see. You've got folks that have kids that have to pick them up. They can't be here for a 5 o'clock meeting. We're blessed. Most of us are retired and we can, or we work for ourselves and we can work it out. But you need to put it out there. As Ms. Noyes already spoke, you've got the cameras. Unfortunately, you've got I want to call it a dud, a $55,000 set of mics that don't work half the time. But I thank God I didn't order them and I wasn't the one that stood up for them. You just need to fix it, ever what the problem is. But the complaint about this little camera, people that don't have charter can go in on YouTube and watch it. If they've got MUS, they can go in on YouTube. And it costs you folks nothing. And it gets the word out to old folks that are not able to come in, or that are handicapped, or because of this COVID-19, people that have children that have to be otherwise. It lets them know what is being said and what is being done. Now, second thing, you trumped on my First Amendment rights. I have the right to speech. I have the right to bear arms. How dare you try to take that away from me? You have folks in here that fight in the wars. That's what you fought for, is my freedom. And any of you that think that ain't what it fought for, you need to go back to school and be educated. But that's my right. It does not say anything vulgar. It is nice enough I would be comfortable wearing it to the church house, folks. And that's saying a mouthful. So I don't know what gave you the right to think you were God and you told me that I couldn't wear these out. Because if any one of you think it's vulgar, please tell me after this meeting. Have enough man or woman about you to stand to my face and tell me. And if you don't agree with it, have enough backbone to stand up and tell Mr. Shipley it's out of order. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else?
Karen Arwood, 1501 Eller Road. We're growing by leaps and bounds as our group COAG. Once again, the only way I could come in here was to turn my shirt inside and out. That is a violation of my rights. I do not agree with it. Same as the rest of our group here. The camera, the videos, our group is growing. The videos are put on YouTube. The last meeting, last, we looked, had over 3,000 views. The word's getting out. And may I tell you, if you do not firmly believe and back up decisions that you make sitting here, you should not have a problem with it being made public. Not one time have we ever put anything out that was not true. We are just wanting to make our community aware of what you guys are doing. And may I reiterate something that my husband said? As far as a political sign on private property, I suggest that people double check and make sure it's in the county. It's county property. Anybody associated with the city had no business being there to get rid of it. The order by the mayor to have it taken down and removed should have never, ever been done because it's on private property. I highly suggest you double check and make sure on various things before you go and do something. As that was trespassing, that was theft. And yeah, we're pretty sure who it was. And we've got more solid information backing up as to how we know who it was. So fair warning. And the more you stupidly react and push back on the things that we're doing, you're not going to make us quit. You're just going to make me come back and do more and more. That's your fair warning. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else who wishes to address the commission?
Kimberly Coffey, 8220 East HJ Highway, Whitesburg. I'm here for the camera thing. We're a farming community, so a lot of us, we work, you know, we do the farm thing, and that takes a while. And there is no way that we would know what was going on if it wasn't for the camera, you know, for Miss Noe and her people doing what they do. And I mean, and I don't mean any disrespect by it, but older folks need to know what's going on, because the taxes that has been raised for this new jail, and I work at the jail. Yes, we need a new jail. I'm not saying we don't. But it could be done, I think, a little bit better, because that's 5 flights of stairs we're going to have to run up. You're going to have medical emergencies. You're not going to be able to get there soon enough. We're going to have fights. Not going to be able to get there soon enough. I know we're going to have an elevator. I know that. But to get back to the thing at hand, I just would wish that you would leave that part alone, the camera here, so the older folks, the ones that are on a fixed income, are going to have to figure out how they're going to pay this extra taxes. Because, I mean, you know, when you get a certain age, you know, you got to figure out what you're going to do first. Are you going to eat? You're going to have your medicine. Which one you going to do? So I just wish you all would, you know, really reconsider that. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else who wishes to address the commission? Seeing none, then I want to remind the commissioners of the announcements regarding next month's meeting. You've got that in front of you. You can take care of it. We stand adjourned. Thank you.